Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Divine Warrior Intuitive. And I am doing a live with the full moon of April 26th, which is actually starting today on the Pacific coast. And then it goes actually through the 27th as it wraps around the world. So I'm just getting set up here for you guys and hopefully get started here. So for those of you that are brand new to my channel, I welcome you. I hope you enjoy this. It's a little bit different than a lot of astrology and readings. So what I do for my full moon, my new moons, retrogrades, and things like that, I give you a little bit of background on the energies before the full moon, which would be the new moon forward, and the energies of April. So maybe this will resonate with you a little bit. And then what's going on with this full moon, because it is a powerful full moon. It is considered many names. So we'll get into that. So what I do is I give you astrology, the energies of that. I don't go into too much of the squares and trines and sextiles and all that kind of stuff. I just give you the energies of what's going on with the planets and what's going on with the moon. Then I also go into the full moon and I'll do a really quick synopsis of that. And then I'll go into a reading for you guys. So I hope this is enjoyable for you. And you can always watch them again because they are recorded and I will upload them, of course, so that you can go back through if you miss something. Or this is a live chat if you have a question and you want to ask a question. If it's in relating to what we're talking about, we'll definitely talk about it. And if not, then hold your questions till the end and I will definitely answer your questions at the end. All right. So let's get started. Month of April's been really, really crazy, guys. So we had the new moon in Aries, which actually sort of catapulted us out of the chute a little bit. It's sort of a dance between the whole month of April, sort of a dance between the past and the future. It's sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of a dance, kind of a thing like that. And so we ended up with a lot of planets moving and squaring in the month of April. Majority of the energies were sort of like they're electric, really energizing and spontaneous. They're very powerful energies. And they bring us into more of like looking into the future. So if you've been thinking about the future a little bit more, that's sort of typical with the new moon in Aries, that going forward. But now we're moving the full moon into Scorpio. Ooh, little tense going on there. So we actually had some breakthroughs, some awareness happening with that new moon. And that happened, when did that new moon happen? That happened, boy, I even forgot already. I think that happened around the 12th or the 14th. I can't remember. Sorry, my days go so fast. And the full moon here is the 26th, 27th kind of energy. So the 26th for Pacific Coast on the West Coast in the United States, it starts at 8:21 this evening, and then it begins to wrap around the world. That's why we say it's on the 26th, 27th. All right. So these energies that you might be feeling, be feeling. We talked a lot about this in your readings, guys. Is things starting new? We had a lot of tens showing up in a lot of your readings, which means the old going away and the new coming. That is that new energy trying to catapult, okay? So we want to make sure that we're focused in more on the right now and not so much on the future because things are going to change. And I'll tell you why with the full moon, okay? So we sort of, let's look at it this way. In the month of April, and especially the new moon into the full moon, and the full moon is going to be this way as well. So this full moon is, you have to imagine, I don't know if any of you guys out there have watched racehorses. If you have, make a comment or let me know, because this is where you will understand things a little bit better. Hey, Felix, welcome. Long time no see. So with this month of April, the new moon and the full moon, imagine this as what is happening, and maybe this is what you're recognizing it in your life, is that the race horse is in the chute. Okay, so they hold, if you haven't watched a race, so they hold the horse back until the bell goes off and then they all take off, right? So this month and this full moon is like this. And sort of think about the tortoise and the hare, the story of the tortoise and the hare while this is all going on. So the horse is in the chute, okay? So the horse is the hare in the story of the tortoise and the hare. So the bell goes off and that horse just shoots out of the chute. And the hare shoots out of thinking it's going to win the tortoise. Well, then all of a sudden, the horse realizes, oh, this isn't a sprint race. This is a long race. Okay. And the hare thinks, I got this. Not a problem. It's a tortoise. So that's the horse taking off thinking, oh, this is going to be a short race. I got this. Not a problem. But then it realizes, oh crap, I need more stamina. I need to go a little bit further. I got to go further and further and further. It's a long race. And the hare is so tired that he takes a nap in the middle of the race, right? If you remember the story. So this is where we're at in April. Everybody out of the chute thinks that they're ready for this. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, Lisa. Everybody thinks they're ready for this race. They're not. Because they think that this is going to be, oh, we're going to shoot off just like those Aries energies in the beginning of the month, shoot off and everything's going to go good. Sprint, sprint, sprint. We're done. No, the thing is you have to plan. You have to be prepared. You have to know what's going on because this is a long race. So why does the tortoise win? And why does the horse poop out? And why does the hare poop out? Because they're not prepared. They don't have their ducks in order to go the long haul. That's the month of April. Ooh, deja vu. There's going to be somebody. Now, you guys pay attention here. There's going to be somebody that comes on in the middle of this reading and is going to contradict everything. Deja vu. Contradict. I've done this before. Ooh, wow. This is it. I just had some weird energies come through. Wow. Deja vu. Anyway, okay, so let's keep going though. So here's the thing with this full moon. Okay, so we have these energies, and we also have during this, oh shoot, I'm going to pull you forward a little bit. Sorry, I got to plug in. So we also have with this full moon and the whole month of April, sorry, the whole month of April, we have to pick our battles. So this month, you probably have had some kerfuffles or people wanting to pick or get pissed off, or you say something, they get pissed off. This is a month, even through the full moon to the end of the month and the first part of May, you want to pick your battles because this energy of this full moon is intense, and I'll share that in a minute, but it's going to bring you into May. Okay, so this full energy. And the reason why it's really important to be careful to pick your battles is because of the power behind this full moon. Okay, so that's another thing that's going to continue on. All right, so let's get into the full moon a little bit. Okay, so that's sort of a hype thing that's going on. Also, too, Scorpio we're in the full moon of Scorpio. So Scorpio is sort of a challenging time for the moon to be in because there's still a lot of anger, tension. It's intense. Now, the thing that makes this more intense of a full moon is that the full moon actually is opposing Sun, Venus, Uranus, Mercury, and there's one other one. There's 5 planets that it's opposing. So what happens is when the moon is opposing, opposite of that, there's a lot of tension. Okay, and you have to imagine planets having a characteristic. That's why you say that the moon is in Venus, which Venus is in, whatever its characteristic, Mars, Taurus, Virgo, whatever it's in, Venus, Uranus, and all that kind of stuff, whatever they're in. Okay, so Venus is supposed to be love and all that kind of stuff. So you have to look at just planets as characteristic. So Mars and Pluto are actually at the same time within the full moon. They're also opposing. So this full moon is going to be really emotional. is going to be very vulnerable. So if you felt weepy or a little bit down this full moon, this is typical. If you feel like you've got an anger, you can't realize where it's coming from, that's Mars and Pluto playing with the full moon. It's like, this aggression that you're holding down for whatever reason. So that's what that's going on. Okay, so the other thing too is that you'll hear the full moon in Scorpio, especially this time of year. It's called the pink moon. That's because of a flora. It's a moss flora that's where it gets it from. It might have a pink tint to it. It has to do with what's called the creeping moss flora. It's also called the mountain flora. It's also called the creeping flora, whatever. Now, some people also call this a super moon. Now, the interesting thing about a supermoon, all that means is that moon is, or if they call it a super retro or whatever, it just means that if planet is the closest to the Earth it can be, or the closest that we want it to be, put it that way. And that's all a supermoon means. However, when that happens, that brings the intensity up. So right now, if you look at the tides wherever you're at in the world, that means that those tides are going to be extra high or they're going to be extra low. Great for scuba diving. We used to watch the tides a lot in scuba diving. So you're going to see those. And a lot of people, if you talk to people and they say, hey, I don't believe in that crap, or I don't believe in astrology, I don't believe in anything, here's your thing to rebuttal against that. So if a supermoon actually can affect the tides that drastically, so you can let them know, say, okay, so do you believe in energy? Well, nah, not really. Okay, do you believe in, the second dimension, things that you can't see? Nope, don't believe in that either. Okay, so why do the tides go up and down? So ask them to explain that. They will have no way to explain. They'll sit there and say, well, that's scientific. No, it is not. It's actually the pull. Well, it is scientific, but it's gravity pulling the energies, but you can't see them because the moon's here, the earth's here. Now show me the gravity, show me the pull, show me the energies that are making that happen. Can't. Second dimensional. You can't see it. All right. So also the other energy that is going to be really, really I don't say tense, but it's going to be enlightened or heightened is that sexual tension or that sexual energy that you feel inside. It's like there's more passion, there's more romance, there's more of that going on. It is also very symbolic of death and rebirth, which is happening with this full moon. The full moon is about death and rebirth. We talked about that in a lot of your signs this last week in the readings, okay, for your 26th through May 2nd. A lot of death and rebirth. Okay, nothing is going to stay the same. If you think it is, it won't. It's either growing to a higher level or it's breaking down. Some of you guys had the Two of Swords in a lot, or you've had a lot of swords in your readings. It's because this is a time about where and how and what is going to lead us to the next thing. Is it going to lead us up into the next level, or is it going to lead us down into a lower level of being stuck in the death part? Because if you don't end it, then you can't have a rebirth. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of personal transformation going on. However, and it's good transformation. This is really, really good transformation. However, for those of you that are more low dimensional, low vibrational, excuse me, not low dimensional, low vibrational, more on the negative side, you're going to see those people. And for us that are more positive, you'll recognize them real quick because they're very judgmental. They're very judgmental of people. This is a time where you'll hear them be more judgmental of people. And you're like, why would you judge them? They're no different than you or me. So that's part of the negative side that has to actually be worked out and try to come to a different level. But a lot of the time when negative motivates people, there's something underlying with that. Okay. And I'll share about that in a minute. Okay. So let's see what else we have. Okay, just a FYI, maybe you guys do trivia. The other thing too about this moon is that for those of you that get into really enlightenment, is that this is also called the Weeksak moon or the Buddha moon. So this is a time, moon in Scorpio is a time where actually Buddha was highly enlightened. And then also too, Buddha was actually passed and left the earth in a moon of Scorpio. Something tidbit to see. But this is really the most complicated moon because we've got, and I'm not going to go into this, but there's like 5 planets opposite this. We've also got squaring, we got half squaring, we got trines, we got sextiles, we got all kinds of things going on at once. So this becomes a real tough moon. So hold on to your belts. And what I mean by that is that this, it's a transformation process. And I said this in some of your readings as well, not even knowing what the moon was going to say. However, this is a tough time because some people don't want to transform. They don't want to metamorphose into the next phase. They want to stay. They're happy where they're at. They don't want to move, whatever. And this, again, with the full moon is where we get the fight and the misbalance of illusion and fantasy versus reality. So we are fighting this all the time. And so you have to imagine the full moon being an iceberg. Okay. And being the iceberg with this, the illusion is the tip of the iceberg. The illusion is the top and the reality is below. So we can't see what's below the water. And I talked to you guys about the garden, right? We talked a lot about the garden in March and especially April because now those little seeds are coming up. So we cannot see what's underground. But when that little green starts popping up, it actually, if we were to put my tomato plant or my little sprouts next to grass or whatever kind of thing I'm growing, they all look the same in the very beginning. It's an illusion. Okay, so they come up and that's the illusion. They look like the same, but as they grow, we see that they're completely different. But the truth is that the growth under the foundation is what we couldn't see before that. Maybe that's not really a good analogy, but the thing is that our reality is underneath. So we have to really be mindful with this full moon. And I'll tell you another reason why, is that we need to really be mindful what is true, divine truth, and what is actually illusion. So if we look at the government, we look at, and this is big too, because this is so much power. Here's one of the powers in this full moon is that we have the government, we have police, we have order, we have all this stuff here that we need to follow. However, it isn't really what it seems. So we listen to the news, it's half truth. Okay, it's not full truth, but the real full truth is underneath the water, the big part of that iceberg. So we need to be due diligent in our own path with this full moon to really pay attention to what is real to you and what is an illusion or a fantasy. So if you're dating, you have to sort of look at my reality, my expectations, and I want to really think about dating this other person, the reality. But if you do not ask, hey, do you want a long-term relationship? Or are you into a booty call? Do you want to look for a husband or a wife? What is it? If you don't ask, then the wheels start turning and you wonder. And then again, you're on the tip of the iceberg, not under the water. You got to get to the bottom of what's under the water. That's the foundation. That's the regeneration. That's the revitalization. That is the rebirth. It's sort of upside down, isn't it? Because all the illusion and fantasy is at the top and it's very small because it's not real. All right. The other thing that really makes it important is on the 27th. Okay, so Pluto's been moving super slow, getting ready for retrograde, right? It's now in direct on the 27th. But what happens with that is that it stays there. It stays there for a while. So it's in direct and then it goes retrograde on the 27th, but it still moves slowly. And as I tell you guys, when a planet goes into retrograde, The slower it moves, which most of the time they move very slow, like Mercury, which creates a lot of headache for everybody. When a planet moves really slow, which is happening, Pluto is doing this as this full moon is going on, then we have to look at Pluto's characteristics and what it is in Pluto, because it's so slow, it's extra powerful. So when it's so slow or not moving, it is extremely, extremely powerful. Okay, and the more deeper that happens, so this is about getting to really the deep analysis of what is going on with your mindset right now. So are you thinking more fantasy, more illusion? Are you really thinking reality, and where is that reality coming from? That is what's going on with the planets right now. Okay, so the big things to take away with this full moon is, as I said in the very beginning, when the horse comes out of that chute, be ready. Have your ducks in a row for the long race, not the sprint, because we're in a long race. As the planets move and everything, as you look into the full moon and everything, this is a really big time to really think about your future, be prepared, start getting your ducks in a row for something that you desire and you want. Don't listen to everybody's kerfuffle, because you know what? That's half the truth. You have to find the truth for yourself. You have to do your own research and digging. And I research every morning, and I listen to an inspirational speaker every morning. So sometimes I'm up at 5 o'clock and I get my cup of coffee and I'm doing research for what I need to do that day. Or maybe I'm missing out on a card or something, and it's bothering me that I can't get deep into that card. So I research that. But it's also important for me to listen to the divine. So I have to listen to what the divine's message in inspiration is for that day, and what he wants me to do that day to touch whoever. So this is sort of the process of what you need to do for yourself and your journey. Start out with meditation. It doesn't take but 5 minutes to sit there and say, thank you. What do you want me to do today? Who do you want me to touch? Who do you want me to be kind to? Who do you want me to smile to? Who do you want me to? Give me the messages. Give me the phone, talk in my ear, give me that intuition, give me that. This is the underwater part that you really have to get into. This is for your journey in your life, okay? So that's something. And that's where the real work and the magic and everything happens, because once you get with this full moon, once you get down deep underneath the water, it's really cool underwater anyway. I love scuba diving. The thing is that you get deep down in there, you can actually see, and it's more clear once you get all the answers for your life and your journey, what you want to do. And you should always, always, always focus in on your passion and your calling and what that fire is inside of you, what you really, really want. Okay. And go for it. Okay. So that's where that is really, really powerful. A lot of transformation, a lot of transformation. And a lot of this changing of illusions and stuff like that. Okay, so I think that's the other thing too is you're not, and I don't mean this as far as sexuality, I mean sensuality, which means your senses. Okay, so your senses are going to be heightened, whether it's hearing, whether it's smelling, whether it's seeing, whether it's touch. Those are going to be sort of in heightened, and all your senses, and this is a wonderful thing. Because when you smell good things, or if you touch someone, that touch will mean a lot more for that. All right. So I think in all reality is we need to really focus in on releasing. We get excited moving forward and we want to release. However, we want to release all this baggage. However, we also have to look at reality. Okay, so I want to put everything in the past. I'm going to put everything in the past. Okay, fantasy. Because reality is you have to work on putting one thing at a time in the past. You cannot say, I'm going to put it all behind me and whoosh, there it goes, because there's a lot going on under the water for each one of those issues. Say you have a boyfriend that you can't get out of your head, or a girlfriend you can't get out of your head. There's an issue that it's an ex, but that's one thing. Maybe you have an anger issue. Where is that coming from? And those kind of things from the past, we have to hit one by one. So you don't don't fool yourself. Don't lie to yourself. It's like maybe you smoke a lot, drink a lot, maybe you do pot a lot. I don't know. But if you're doing all of those at one time, you can't just stop all three. You would have to stop one by one because they're all connected. But the thing is, one by one. And I would say if you had smoking pot and alcohol, stops pot, because working in chemical dependency, pot is not physically addicting. It's psychological. You can end it anytime. Just tidbit. Okay. So that's really the other thing too with the full moon is that we have a lot of anger regression. There's a lot of anger in some, and I saw this in a lot of the readings. Some of you might have heard me say, I'm not going there. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to do that, because there was so much anger in the readings. I couldn't bring everything forward. So there was a lot of anger energy in several of the readings. So this is something that we have to get down to and release, and get down to the reality, what that anger is coming from. Release it so that you can move forward and release that energy. Because when you do that, you lighten the load, you lighten your stress. Not only that, when you have anger, it's coming from some low vibrational place. It's affecting not only your body, but you're affecting, remember I can't remember. If anybody's on and you remember talking to me doing the reading about the ripple effects, the ocean, the water and the ripple effect, how you can ripple it all out, whether it's being negative energy or positive energy. So each ripple that you go out, but you can also reverse those ripples, because when you correct one thing at a time, then you bring those ripples in. So that's sort of a what do you call it? Analogy of your aura around you. So if you have a real big negative aura, you're putting that out, and that's what you're getting in. But the other thing too, it's not only affecting you, it's affecting the people around you without you even knowing it. And then they wonder, why are you always so angry? Why are you always so angry? All right. So we're going to do the same thing here, guys, with the cards. So we're going to do 3 oracles. I'm just going to do a general reading for all the signs, although this is pretty much, all the signs anyway. If you watched a lot of the signs, they were pretty much the same as far as their energies and what was going on. A couple of them were pretty dark this week. Really had me a little disturbed after I did those readings. I had to do a cleaning and everything. So they were just a little disturbing. Hopefully that did not fall over into your weeks. So first card, the Divine's card, is the Bard. We had this for some of you guys this week. Ooh, thank you for bringing it back, because I don't want to get up. Okay, yeah, we talked about that as well. So the Bard was the storyteller. This is about music, poetry. This is about history. This is about enchantment of your story. This is your story. How are you telling it? You could tell, a lot of people write music or poems or things like that where they tell their story, or they, in acting, we tell our story. Just in even sometimes public speech, we tell our stories. Or through volunteer work, we tell our stories. And stories are just either firsthand witness, testimony, that kind of a thing, or we begin to tell our story through our pain and how we grew and transformed. Again, full moon energy, how we transformed out of that. Because how many times have you met somebody, went through it, and then you said, oh, wow, I've been through that. Oh, wow, you can understand me. Having that camaraderie, having that person next to you that understands is really huge. That has been through it. Firsthand experience, right? All right, so we have the Bard, so storytelling. Okay, and that's also the number 7. So that's your potential and your ambition. So what is it that you have a gift, a talent at that you need to bring out? So death, rebirth. Remember, this is the full moon, okay? So there is a talent there that you really need to be sharing. And don't miss the opportunity for somebody. I don't know who this is for out there, but coming this next week, So this is the 26th through this last week. Somebody's going to have the opportunity to do exactly that. I feel the energy of somebody has gone through some type of pain, some type of struggle or challenge, that you are going to meet somebody that needs to hear that. So share that story with them. I don't know who that is, but share that story with them because they really need to hear it. They need this lifting up. I don't know if that's coming somebody that you need to hear somebody's story or if you need to share your story. I don't know, but don't miss that opportunity. If that is you to share your story, if somebody is telling their story, this is very hard for them to do. So be loving in your response to them. All right. So the frog is a current energy, of course, for this week. And definitely we would expect that, right? Because what I just said on the full moon is releasing emotional baggage. Remember, I said this is going to be extremely emotional week. The full moon is extremely emotional. If you're feeling weepy, if you're feeling all that kind of stuff, it is also the number 5, so it is unstable. It's not a comfortable time. This is not a comfortable time. And transformation is not a comfortable time for people. Transformation is like pulling teeth. I just say that it is pulling teeth. The reason why it's pulling teeth is nobody really wants to go through it because we know that you have to go through pain to get to the reward. We know you have to go through some type of struggle to actually understand from the other side. Okay, so it is like pulling teeth. However, this is a time that it needs to be done. Spring cleaning, guys. This is spring cleaning. It even says cleaning house, spring cleaning. We've already started that in our house. We do this probably 3 times a year. Is like, okay, we get this stuff and then it's like, it's got to go. It's got to go. It's got to go. Because why are we having stuff? There's stuff that we don't use in years and years and years. Why do we keep it? Who knows? All right. This future energy for after the full moon through the first couple of weeks of May, we are looking at, and I cannot, she's shown up many a times this week, is the Lady of the Lake. Having the courage, having the ability to really listen to the divine, the second dimension, the absolute truth, and having some self-respect in following what is true, what is reality, and not illusion or fantasy is going to get you much further. Also, you have a responsibility to yourself to know the facts. So don't be afraid to ask. Okay, because the Lady of the Lake also is the number 8, and that is again about your progress and your rewards. This is the full moon, guys. This is the full moon. You know, this is where illusion and fantasy meets reality. Sucks. Top of the iceberg, lower part of the iceberg, you know. So we got to really sort of look at that. And also we got to look at the racehorse, the tortoise and the hare. Keep those stories in mind because those are the ones that are actually going to be full moon through the second week of May. So when you feel like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and oh yeah, spontaneous, and oh yeah, you're thinking sprint, but make sure that you're ready for that long haul. Okay. So we have the Page of Swords, definitely. We have the Page of Swords is your first card out. Again, about truth, wanting to look back. It's okay to look back in the rearview mirror, but you got a full front mirror here, or window, but you got a full window up front that you need to keep moving forward from. All right. All right. Woo. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful energies, guys. So we have the 10 of Cups and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Again, this is about choice. Telling your story, cleaning your house. This is about having love and self-respect for yourself. This is also, are you walking in absolute truth? Okay, this is reality. Even though you cannot see it, the absolute truth is truth. I don't know how to make that any clearer. The Wheel of Fortune is your choice, you know. This is a wonderful thing that you can have, you know. Let's spin the wheel and see where we're going to stop. I want to go to Cancun. Oh, I want to go to Bora Bora. You know, where are we going to stop? So that kind of a thing. But this is really about taking responsibility. Oh, wow. Okay, responsibility for yourself and your future. you know, there's a gentleman this week I've been talking to, and I love him to pieces. He's a really nice guy, but when we talk, it's like, are you even listening to me? Because he's talked to so many people that don't even have a clue. You know, like if he talks to him about me, and it's like, why are you talking to him? They're giving you stuff that isn't even me. That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Again, we're at the top of the iceberg. And if you would ask me, go to the below the iceberg, then you're going to find out they're completely wrong. And now you have this idea about me by what they say, not what I am. Drives me nuts. Or somebody says, "Oh, you're probably working on a saddle," or I think you're working on a saddle. You're not psychic. I'm not working on a saddle. I'm actually working on my YouTube page. Top of iceberg, bottom of iceberg. To ask the people for the bottom of the iceberg, not the top, because this is going to change your world completely upside down. Woo! Woo! So this full moon is going to be a choice, you guys. It's going to be a tough moon. Now there's huge transformation coming for somebody. You have an opportunity to really catapult yourself up. Remember, that horse is ready to go. You're ready to go. And you have an opportunity to really pick and choose what you want to do and make it happen. However, somebody is not ready. They're not ready. It's like, oh yeah, I'm ready. And if you were to ask, well, okay, so for example, if somebody just got their real estate license, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to sell a house. Okay, well, how do you flip a house? Well, what's the first process of flipping a house? I want to flip a house. So can you tell me how to? They're not ready. You still have to get down underneath that water where that iceberg is. You still have to do your research. You still have to do your due diligence for the long haul. Not the sprint. All right. But somebody is about ready for transformation, or they're in that process. That gate for that horse is opening. And here's the thing. Oh my goodness. Here's the thing. This future energy is you have to have responsibility for the outcome. Okay. So if you're illusional and in fantasy, that door is opening and you're I want to say almost delusional that you're ready for the long haul, but you haven't prepared. That's fantasy and that's illusion, and you're lying to yourself, and you're setting yourself up for failure. Excuse me. You're setting yourself up for a lesson that you really don't want to learn, that you could have avoided learning by actually really doing your homework first. Because there is no failure. I retract that, because there is no failure. You learn a lesson, either to move on that way or how to do it better next time, or not do it, period. All right. So somebody is really, whew. And then for somebody else, man, you're going to win it. You're going to win it. This race, you're ready for it. There's a couple of energies in here. You're ready for it. You guys don't want to play? Okay, I won't play that with you guys then. I won't play with you. Put you back in the sandbox. All right, so let's see what else we've got going here. I don't see any love here this week, guys. Although there is a lot of sexual tension. And that could be good sexual tension or, not. And meaning that, sometimes we do things that we really don't want to do, but it's to make that other person happy. Yeah. This is so funny. Okay, so we have the Tower. It's interesting because we have the Tower. Welcome. Yep, I'm going to be doing I'm doing the reading here, but I'm not going to be doing readings today. This is my day off for readings. I will start doing readings tomorrow, Tuesday through Friday or Saturday, depending on my knee. It's getting better, so I'm going to shoot for Tuesday through Friday. So, but definitely, if you haven't subscribed, hit the bell, and you'll know when it's on, because the divine picks the sign that I do. He tells me what sign to start with, and then I do that. So if it's air, if it's fire, if it's water, whatever. But I don't know what sign I start with. That's up to him. Okay. So guys, we have the Tower in the middle of this reading. Okay. And in the middle of this reading, Okay, we started out with the truth, right? We're looking at the truth, but then we went to the 10 of cups. I was going to say hearts because that's what they are really. And then we went to the wheel of fortune. Now look at this. That we have the tower in the center. Then look what happened. We have the 10 of cups, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles heading towards death. We're almost in a reverse. We're almost tipping that iceberg upside down. We're almost looking at reality, which was going to bring us this. And we're getting rid of something in our life. This is an amazing little reading because this is actually, somebody is actually doing it wrong. They're getting ready for the sprint when they need to get ready for the long haul. But somebody, on the other hand, is ready for that long haul and they succeed. But they also know that they had to put something, they had to sacrifice something, you know, they had to do their spring cleaning, they had to get rid of the baggage, they had to look at the self of truth, they had to do their homework, and they did. This is amazing. And that's the tough part of that. All right. Somebody's also got something coming up in a financial gain for themselves. Thank you. Are these upside down? No. Okay. Also, download is that this is, again, and a lot of people, you know, I'm not here to sugarcoat a lot of things. I say what the divine wants me to say, what I see. Unfortunately, somebody lost a lot in business, or lost a lot in something that they were doing monetarily, whether it be making a lot of money at their job, making a lot of money in their own business, making a lot of money in something, and that needs to come to an end because it's dried up. It's like it's no longer working. I don't know who that's for, but it's no longer working, and it's time to put it to rest. It's time to start something new. Okay. Yeah. And this has been a hard decision for somebody, an extremely hard decision for somebody. Do I keep it going? Do I not keep it going? And the thing is, you have to look at, thank you. So you have to look in your mind, you have to look at factuals. Whatever this is, if you've got something going, you're in a decision and it's been eating you up alive, that you have to make a decision about something, you have to look at the facts, the reality versus the illusion. But this is what I love to do. This is what I have been doing. It doesn't mean that the whole thing has to end, but maybe a new way of doing things. You're too emotionally involved in it. You're not looking at the facts. You're not looking at the evidence of what is happening. For me, one time I had to analyze my business. Yes, I loved it. I loved having my brick and mortar. But if I really analyzed it, my business could not support the home and the business because I ended up in the hospital and had a surgery, and some of the money had to be taken from my business to my home, and it was bleeding my business dry. I had to analyze and be realistic about what needed to go and take the emotional side out. Sometimes we have to do that. That is self-respect. That is responsibility. That is actually the horse planning out of the chute for the long haul, not just the sprint. I hope that makes sense to somebody. I don't know who this is for, but this does have to do with your livelihood or your future or whatever. Now, again, it doesn't mean that it has to completely go away, but maybe there's a different way that you have to transform it, rejuvenate it, rebirth it, because the full moon is about death and rebirth. Okay. So that is about death and rebirth. So this is something that you really have to analyze. This is your story. This is your history. This is everything that you Oh, now they're upside down. That you want to do. Temperance, patience. Definitely patience, guys. It does take patience. You can't be an Aries jumping into it, going, and then realize, oh crap, I shouldn't have done this. That's the sprint when now you're out of energy to go the long haul. Takes patience for change, takes patience for time. And this is the greatest time to do it because we're in spring. This is where all the energy is. This is the full moon energy. This is like, oh yeah, it's tough at first to come poke through that ground, to be that little plant and poke through that ground. It is hard. But when you get through, it's like, woo, there's the sun, there's the light, there's the rain, yee, kind of a thing. All right. So what is it? Because for somebody, this is going to be a legacy. This is going to be a story. This is going to be something you're going to tell your children. This is, you're going to like, wow, we made it through that time. All right. It's sort of like now with these businesses that are closing because of the pandemic. And now, and you guys, I don't normally do this, but my daughter texted me right before this. And if you pray or meditate, please pray for India right now. Please meditate on India right now. These poor people, we've got to come together for them. It's like, this is not right. It is not fair with the pandemic and everything. This is cruel that the other countries are not stepping in and helping them with the vaccines. So please keep them in prayer, keep them in your meditations, lift their vibrations up, send your positive vibrations to India. I mean, I could be in tears. Whew. It's not right. It's not right. And Divine sees it and not happy. Not happy. Whew. Sorry. I'm an empath. Okay. All right. So let's finalize this up, guys, and see where you guys are headed. Again, remember these energies are probably going to go for the first week or two into May. So we have the 10 of Swords. Okay. 10 of Swords. We have the 10 of Wands. Wow. And then we have Judgment. Look at these cards here, guys. 10, 10, 20. 1, 1, 2. Death, rebirth. Death, rebirth. And 20 turns to 2. That is a decision to make balance or not balance. This is the 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 step forwards, 1 step back. This is the ending of rejuvenation, not ending, but to decide to clean your house. How amazing is this? I can't make these cards up. The Judgment card is ending in the very end, is what you do. You're your own judge, jury, and whatever. Because this is your decision. You can make it a worldly decision. You can make it a spiritual decision. You can make it a balanced decision to have more balance in your life. You're going to balance your family, your work. You're going to balance me time. You're going to balance love, compassion, a second dimension, first dimension in there. That's balance. But this is about completion and ending. This is about death. This is about transformation. This is, gosh, look at all the 10s. My gosh, you guys, I cannot make this up. There are 5 10s along with death. Wow. Amazing. So which way are you going to go? Don't be the horse out of the chute not prepared. Be the horse out of the chute and the hare that is not prepared for the long haul. Be prepared. Just respect yourself enough to do your own due diligence. Get down to that water, underneath the water, to see how big that iceberg is. Just poke your head down there and see how much work you got to do and homework you got to do. Look at the reality. That's the reality. But the illusion is on top. So think of your life as the iceberg and where you want to go with it. You want to make that top of that iceberg grow higher and then have a little one on the bottom and reverse that. All right. But that's the full moon. It is, as one of the astrologers said, the month of April we came in like a lion, and usually they say you go out like a lamb. No, this time we're coming in like a lion. We are going out like a lion. It is going to be as strong coming in as strong going out. So get ready for May. We'll see what happens with May. But again, transition, death, and rebirth, and a lot of emotional energy. So if you're weepy, or if you get emotional like me with not only India, that's humanitarianism. You know, I'm a humanitarian anyway, but yeah, so definitely pay attention to what you're doing as far as this next week, where you're going, and plan ahead a little bit, but focus in on now. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope everybody stays healthy and well for this week. Again, I will probably see all of you on the 3rd for your readings. And don't forget, there is a new video out for why my tarot is different. So if you know somebody who likes to learn a little bit about tarot, or what my tarot is about, and why I do what I do, as far as the reasons why I do it. Also, too, I touch a little bit on traditional versus modern tarot, because a lot of people don't study and research what really tarot is or where it came from. They all think it's satanic and dark and all that kind of stuff. If you looked at the history of it, it actually comes from more lighter. It's humans that actually twisted it. So anyway, so there's that video out on uploads, and share that with your friends. Otherwise, I will see you on the 3rd. Take care, guys. Bye, Felix, Lisa, Ina. Thank you for popping in. Okay, take care. That was a deja vu.